Today, I'd like to introduce you to a new American microbrand out of Salt Lake, Utah, producing Swiss-made watches. Markwell has released their new datematic, which is a 37mm diameter watch that should be technically categorized as a dress watch, but this thing offers so much more. I'll tell you why next on Watch Wit. Hey now, I'm Wit. Welcome to the channel. I enjoy budget watch collecting just like you, and I am just a watch freak. I mean, I'm looking at Instagram pictures of watches, I'm watching videos just like you, and every now and then a watch that comes along that really just catches my eye, and this one has done just that. The Markwell datematic. The simplicity on this watch is just perfection, but it's anything but boring. Let me give you a rundown of all the measurements and specs, and then I'll get into my likes and dislikes on this one. Markwell calls this their Telford case, and it's 37mm in diameter. You've got a lug-to-lug of 43mm, 20mm lug width, and just 10.3mm in thickness from the bottom of the case back to the top of that boxed sapphire crystal. And the datematic weighs just 57 grams on the supplied leather strap. The strap comes color matched to your case color choice, and I'll go over that in a minute, but the leather strap is great quality, nice stitching, and it's got the propensity to show markings as you break in the leather, as you can see here. This was new when I received it just a few weeks ago. And then there's like a little scratch. So I love that personalization of your own wear and tear on the leather. Just breaks in beautifully. It features two keepers, one floating and one fixed, and there's a Markwell signature on the buckle. This Telford case is stainless steel with a mix of brushwork and high polish. You see just the chamfer here of the lugs. You've got vertical brushing on the mid case and then radial brushing across the lugs. And then a high polish fixed bezel, primarily from the top down, but you see a little bit of that view from the side as well. Now the case comes in two different colors. You can get this traditional stainless steel look, or you can opt for the stainless steel that is gold PVD coated. There's a push-pull crown that's kind of a squashed onion or a bun look to it, and it's 6.2mm in diameter, features their logo, and that is loomed. There's a screw-down case back with their logo embossed in the center, and then some specs around the outside edge. 100 meters of water resistance. Taking a look under this boxed sapphire crystal, you see the dial has applied indices in brushed stainless steel, and there's a large framed date window with some incredible detail. Luminescence is applied to the hour and minute hand, plus the crown, as I previously mentioned. Now, you may have seen on the dial this is Swiss-made, and that obviously comes a large part due to the movement inside. The datematic is running the Sellita SW200-1. It's got 26 joules, beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour, about a 38 to 41 hour power reserve. It features automatic and hand winding, hacking or stop seconds device, and a quick set date. Now you may know that the SW200 comes in 4 different grades. Since it's not mentioned on their website, I'm going to assume this is just standard grade, which is usually adjusted in 2 positions, has an accuracy rating of about plus or minus 12 to plus or minus 30 seconds per day. Now Markwell mentions that they're regulated to plus 6 to minus 4 average per day. As you can see here, I came in a little bit higher than that. Over about 23 days, I hand timed this, and it came in at plus 8.5 seconds per day. That's still well within the tolerance range of the standard grade though. And showing you just one position on the time graph or dial up and only one pass through, you see it coming in fairly close to that, plus 7 seconds per day, nice amplitude of 305 degrees, no beat air. Nice and healthy. Okay, let's get into my likes and dislikes for this Markwell datematic, and I'll start with the bad news. And it's really just one thing, and it actually just might be this colorway, and that is the red contrast on black. Now you can see that seconds hand shows up pretty well because it's up against a lighter black. This Banker's Black model kind of has a little bit more of a gray look to it on that outer ring. So you can see the red show up pretty well there, but look at the date. So the number 2, this is a roulette date wheel. You get alternating red and white. And so whenever it's in that red, it's just not quite the contrast you're looking for from a distance. You can see here, as I back the watch away a little bit, the Markwell and datematic still shows up, but that red is kind of hard to make out. And the section on the dial either side of the 6 o'clock marker says Swiss made, but again, you can only really make that out in bright lighting. But I'll take the looks over functionality on this one because that red looks awesome. And like I said, it might not be as bad on the other colorways. So let me give you my likes. And actually the first one is going to be the same topic, the date complication. I mean, that date window is just awesome. You kind of get a sneak peek of the previous day and the next day numerals. But what that also does, though, is makes that date window a little larger and adds some balance and symmetry to the dial. You know, a lot of people complain about date complications because it messes up the symmetry of the dial for them. You know, having a small opening for the date window, throwing off the balance between the other indices. But as you can see, this date window is just about the same height as its 9 o'clock marker across the way. So that does add a lot of balance. And you can see from a distance, it really just cleans up the dial a lot, and you still get to keep your date complication. And a fun little bonus is that some of these dials have a little Easter egg at the date 11 or 13. Ah, look at that. That's just kind of fun, right? No real rhyme or reason to it that I know of. It just is a cool little touch. Now, I just want to rave about this dial a minute. It's just fantastic, and this is really what attracted me to this watch in addition to this case shape. But you can see these kind of Art Deco-inspired numerals, the 12, 6, and 9. They really just take on a look that I haven't seen on a watch that just blends so nicely with the other indices and the dial. And there's a little nod to sector dials going on here with this concentric circle around the outside edge and that kind of crosshair pattern printed in the middle. And I think that's what kind of gives it a little bit of its inspired look from watches of the 40s and 50s, but obviously this has a modern look as well from today's manufacturing and materials. You know I'm all about that shimmer, and this dial flashes back light at you absolutely beautifully. I think that's some of where it grabs its legibility, you know, because essentially from a distance you think that it wouldn't be that legible with this dial color and those indices just being stainless steel. But you can see from various shots I've shown you throughout this video that it really has high legibility when light is hitting it brightly. Now, you know, I just mentioned I was attracted to the case, and that is for sure. I mean, these angular lugs just give it such a cool look. You know, to have that notch out squared off like that, it just adds a touch of ruggedness and really what could be, you know, somewhat boring lugs, but it really takes this case to the next level. And this dial and the case with its 10.3 millimeter thickness, you know, it should technically fall in the dress category, but I think that's the beauty of this watch, is that it definitely falls outside of that category as well. I mean, this watch can do so much more. You know, it screams of a GADA watch to me. I mean, you can dress it up or dress it down pretty easily from strap or bracelet options, and it's got a 100-meter water resistance rating. So, I mean, this really is, I think, a go anywhere, do anything watch. And that's summarized by a quote that I'm stealing from one of the founders, John, as he was explaining the watch to me before we talked about reviewing this. And he said, you know, it's an everyday non-diver watch, not meant to be a loom beast, etc., but can take a beating and do work, home, school, church, or brake repair. A watch just like Dad used to rock, just a little nicer. I just love that. It's so cool. So the datematic from Markwell watches comes in at around $657 US at the time of this recording. There's free shipping in the continental US as well, and a 2-year warranty. I just love that this watch was inspired by so many before it, yet it's got its own simplicity and uniqueness and looks like no other watches out there today. What do you think? Leave your comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. And if you got time, maybe check out a couple of these videos. I'll see you over there. I'm Whit, with so many watches, so little time. And money.